Debates are still ongoing as to what was taken out above Alaska. In the last 24 hours, some interesting photographs have been shared around social media, allegedly depicting the object in question. One image that's currently gaining traction is this one, that shows what appears to be an object in the shape of a disc. It's unknown where this photograph was taken, but those who shared it said it was captured by a local somewhere in Alaska, who then go on to note that shortly after this image was taken, the area was swarmed with military officials. If this is the real deal, then it's one of the most incredible images that's been released in recent years. It helps us to visualize what pilots and other individuals have been encountering. The aircraft perfectly matches many eyewitness descriptions, being a slick dark grey colour and having that iconic shape that so many people have seen. Interestingly, ever since the establishment of privately funded organisations that looks into these mysterious aircrafts, those who've studied documents have said that in recent years more and more of these objects have been discovered and tracked by the US military, and same as the object that was taken out above Alaska has led some to ask questions. If these do belong to the US military, then why are they actively chasing them and taking them out? Although there's limited information on these topics, the little information that has been released has allowed amateur researchers to make connections otherwise impossible to notice without treating the overall statistics as a piece to a bigger picture. Interestingly enough, this has also painted a much clearer image of witness reports in general, and has allowed us to find out how many annual witness reports of these aircrafts are made by the general public all around the world. According to gathered reports and statistics, over 6,000 reports have been made annually throughout the region that includes multiple witness testimonies and evidence per report. This means that on average we experience roughly 16 sightings of unidentified objects every single day, and this only includes the ones that people come forward about. Some people don't like talking about this topic and so wouldn't go ahead and report their encounters, and this could be due to fear of being ridiculed, or even because this could negatively impact their life in some way or another. One user said the following about this image: "I find it interesting how this object is in the shape of a disc, but for me more investigations are needed before we can assume this is the object in question. One of the issues that me and many other people have is that there's so much information out there, and some of that is used to put people off the trail. And all this does is muddy the water when it comes to finding out a definitive answer. Sometimes I wonder if certain pieces of information are released on purpose, which is done purely so that it puts people off the scent. So it makes me wonder whether we should be looking the other way in order to find the answers we're looking for. This topic has always been full of information that leads researchers down the wrong path, and as of right now I'm wondering if this is what's happening right now." End quote. Not everyone was entirely convinced this object was the one taken out above Alaska, with some going on to say that it doesn't look to be in the shape of a disc, but do note this could be mistaken for a car, or suggested that it may be a part of the mountain, and when you look at it from certain angles it can give off the impression this object is in the shape of a disc. Interestingly, in the last few years we've been given an insight into how the US views these objects, and it seems to show that they're very much interested. What seems to be the main story of focus regarding the Pentagon's project has to do with the recently declassified witness reports of an unidentified object and its anomalous behaviour. The report centres around a Navy pilot's first-hand account, after he was sent to investigate a mysterious aircraft that suddenly appeared on radar at an altitude of 80,000 feet. When the Navy pilot slowly approached the aircraft, it began to descend rapidly, and it did this within a few seconds to an altitude of 20,000 feet, and then stopped abruptly before fading off the radar and disappearing completely, almost as if it was fading from existence. Normally witness reports are not all that exciting to amateur researchers. However, it appears that the research group had recovered the recorded footage from the Navy pilot's aircraft, that showed in high detail the craft's shape and its extraordinary movements and ability to abruptly vanish from sight. What makes the footage in the account all the more incredible is that various insiders are now coming forward and using this footage to confirm the craft's non-nationality, given that not only did it not have any designs similar to any current aircraft today, but that it seemed completely unreplicable with current technologies. This footage and many others can be found when searching up the Pentagon's secret files. Although the program has currently been discontinued, which is the main cause for the declassification of the files, the chief of the program still heavily believes in the importance of the study and the viability of his team to continue their research and gather information regarding issues of national security. In the last few years, different members have come forward and made themselves known, and have claimed that not only did these crafts exhibit behaviours that appeared to defy the very laws of aviation, but that these crafts were found to be 100% not man-made, and were out of the scope of human capabilities. The reason for this claim was that the crafts investigated demonstrated hypersonic capabilities that were described as being far beyond the scope that is physically tolerable by a human being, of whom would experience a high amount of Gs to the points that would either be fatal or seriously wound them. This meant that whoever or whatever was piloting these aircrafts appeared to be non-human. Not only this, but the technical developments of the crafts also made it very apparent that the creation of these unidentified objects were vastly superior to anything man-made. One insider describes in one of his many reports regarding this subject matter as saying the following: "There is a lot we really don't know. We have identified anomalous aircrafts, crafts that do not have any obvious flight surfaces, forms of propulsion and maneuvering in ways that include extreme maneuverability beyond the healthy G-forces of anything biological, low observability and positive-lived. These aircrafts will call them aircraft display capabilities not in the US arsenal, or any other militaries." End quote. Not only does this help to supply overwhelming legitimate proof research and developments made into the community, but demonstrates that the evidence regarding these aircrafts is quite abundant. It's just as of right now it hasn't been released through the correct networks. It seems obvious to some people that officials are currently sitting on evidence that would blow the subject wide open if they ever decided to release it. With all of this acknowledgement of mysterious aircrafts, their strange abilities and the potential for otherworldly life, it might appear that the Department of Defense and higher intelligence officials might be slowly coming to the consensus of total disclosure regarding the viability of contacting classified government projects, but those who are involved in this study have said this could not be further from the case. According to Nate Jones, the director of the Freedom of Information Act, he claims that the footage shown and provided was never officially declassified, and that there are potentially many files that are still yet to be declassified that have not gone through the proper channels. In fact, it almost appears to be the initial cause for the declassification of certain files to begin with, and said it was potentially a leak of information, and that it originated from inside the Pentagon. Nate Jones said the following: "It looks very strongly like these weren't released through any proper DoD declassification channels." The Department of Defense has also taken a stand by saying the following: "The official who is authorized to release this footage on behalf of the Department of Defense did not approve the release of this video." The Pentagon is also referencing a study made back in the 1950s by the Central Intelligence Agency, which was part of their psychological strategy board, of which concluded that the public's potential reaction to these aircrafts could cause an instance of mass hysteria, which constituted a national security threat. This could very well mean that we're decades away from a full disclosure of the project and other secret Pentagon files. So what do you make of these interesting reports? Be sure to leave your questions and answers in the comment section below, and help us to grow this community while working to solve these unexplained mysteries. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe for more videos.